This game, the stakes are real. The topics are raw. No filters, no scripts, just underrated conversations.
Man, but you gotta look at it from their side.
Exactly. Underrated Conversations.
Welcome to episode 7 of Underrated Conversations. I'm your host, Ray. Thank you for everybody that's being patient, waiting on my episodes to drop. Thank you to all my supporters. Thank you to everybody that likes, share, comments my videos, even my media videos that I drop, and everything. I really appreciate the engagement, and that's what keeps me going with this. I know it's been almost a month, if not a month, since I dropped the episode, but like I said before, I'm not really dropping them in like a monthly or weekly or bi-weekly or whatever type format, because that's really hard for me, because I'm not really doing this in a way where I'm talking about, things that are really going on like in the world or around us and stuff like that. So I kind of just drop it when I feel led to drop it, and I appreciate the patience that everybody has. So let's just get to it, man. Over these last couple weeks, I learned a lot about myself, as I usually do. I sat back and watched, as I usually do. And a lot of things have happened and opened up around me that I've noticed. But I'm going to start with something that's liberating heavy on me and I need to get out. When it comes to my kids, I don't have too much wiggle room on things that are acceptable about when things are said or done to one of my children. I'm not going to elaborate. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but just know that if you or anybody has anything off the wall, crazy, messed up, disrespectful, or outright utterly wrong to say about any of my kids, that's when we have a problem. Especially one of my kids in particular. Over these last couple weeks, somebody said something really, really disrespectful about my youngest child. But you have to realize the people that it's coming from, so I didn't give it too much attention. But I feel like it needs to be said that I don't play about my kids. I don't. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. If you do something wrong as my child, there's consequences for the things that you did wrong. If you do something right, there's praises for the things that you did right. But at the end of the day, they're my kids. So if there's anything that needs to be said about them, you better make sure it's on the up and up, point blank, period. I'm not going to take any more disrespect when it comes to somebody saying something about my kids, especially if you got something to say and you don't have the, what's the word I'm looking for here? The backbone to say it to my face, and you got to say it over a message, a comment, or over the phone. That tells me a lot about your character. So from this point on, if anybody has anything disrespectful to say about me, my kids, my family, any of that, feel free to say it directly to me. We don't need to send it in messages. We don't need to say our little slick stuff in comments. We don't need to say our little slick stuff in DMs, however, email, however. If you have something to say about any of my children, please feel free. I'm easy to get in contact with, but I'd prefer that it's said directly to my face and don't hide behind a screen, a keyboard, or an iPad, whatever the heck you sending it on. Get in contact with me so we can meet up face to face and maybe we can discuss it. Now that that's out the way, nothing's really like over these last couple weeks. Like I haven't really had anything that's like really just been negative or pressing on me, but I do have some things that I would like to talk about. I was doing some self-reflecting and couldn't figure out why it's really hard for me to get motivated to even do this. And I couldn't figure out what my motivation was to do this. And then it clicked. Maybe it's not just me, and maybe this can go out for some other people. But for me, I learned that pain motivates my progress. That sounds crazy, but whenever I'm in a place where I'm down, or something traumatic happens in my life, or something happens in my life that is like weighing on me heavily, those type of experiences in my life is what draws me to progress. Now, with that being said, that is not necessarily a good trait that I have, and I'm working on changing that because I want to be able to be proactive without it coming from a place of hurt. And a lot of people, I'm sure, deal with that. So I'm learning to try to come from more of a positive state when I'm want to accomplish things. And the first step for me was to admit to it and try to make that change in my life. I haven't got to a point where it's 100% change or I've made the change, but it's a work in progress. And the first step was me to realize it and notice it. I have so much stuff that I want to do with myself, but procrastination is making it really difficult for me. So I procrastinated a lot with a lot of things going on, and I started getting signs and signals about what I need to do to get to that next level, to get to the point of where it's not hard or it's not difficult for me to accomplish some of my goals, and it doesn't feel like it's work for me to do it. So I prayed and I asked God to show me what show me what it is that is holding me back and what I need to do to move over to the next step. And things around me started happening that I started to notice things. I started to notice that people who I thought was important in my life, I started noticing that they start falling off. Or I started noticing that that what I thought was important to me is really not important, and I was valuing them more in my life than they needed to be. So like once I had a visual and I could see that these things were happening around me, that's when I started to notice where I need to put people in my life, like the categories that I need to put people in my life. So over the course of these last couple of weeks, that's what I've been doing. I've been figuring out what this person means to me and what value this person can bring into my life, and what part or what lane they need to be in my life. And me doing that has made things a lot easier for me. And it's not a knock against anybody. Anybody that I associate with in my life at this very moment in my life, you obviously mean something to me in my life. You may not be as important in my life as you think you are, but you are important to me. So now that I've realized where I need to put certain people at in my life, I know how to deal with certain people, to include people I love and care about the most. And by me doing that, I can give you a better me. I can give you a more accurate me. I can give you the person that you need, because I know that you're over here and this is what you need and this is what I need from you, so we can focus on that. And I'm starting to notice that it's making things in my life start to progress. So I'm in the process of working all that out, and it's really kind of therapeutic. And the good thing about that is the people that notice it and the people that I talk to, it's not like it's a slight. They understand what's going on and what I need for my growth. And by me getting what I need for my growth, I can help you with your growth. I think I've said before in a few episodes before that, like, it gets really frustrating when you give somebody advice and they don't take your advice, and then they hit a brick wall and they come back for advice, or they knock your advice to the side and then somebody else gives them the same advice, or they take your advice later down the road and take the credit for it. I know it's petty, but it can get kind of frustrating after a while. So by me doing this with myself, and it might work for some of the people out there, by me doing this with myself, it's making me be able to give more to people. And then it's making me able to see what I need from them and be able to accept that and push all the BS to the side. And sometimes we have to do that with people. It might hurt, because some of the people you have to do this with might be really, really close. It might be your best friend. It might be your aunt, your uncle, your favorite cousin, your sister, your brother, your mom, your dad, your grandmother. But it's nothing personal. You're doing it to grow with yourself, and you can give them a better understanding of you because you know what lane they're in your life. So once you figure that out, it's smooth sailing from there. I had a conversation today. Older guy at work. I'm pretty sure he won't mind me talking about it. We cool. Shout out to you, G. um, and we tend to have these conversations a lot amongst with each other. And it's refreshing to know that some of the stuff that we talk about, even though he's older than me, I can drop gems and things that he needs to know and want to learn to better himself. And by him having more life experience than me, it's I'm getting gems from him just from him talking about his life experiences. And I think that with this new generation of younger kids, I'd say 30 and younger, maybe 25 to 30 and younger, the days of sitting and listening to older people to try to just listen to anything they're talking about, their knowledge, their life experiences, all that, to try to gain some knowledge from it, those days are gone. A lot of these younger people think they know everything, or they think they can't learn from an older person, or they think they can learn it from a computer or a phone or something like that, or social media. And that's not the case. A lot of life lessons, a lot of life knowledge comes from other people who've been through that in life. Back in the olden days, that's how we learned stuff. My grandfather would talk to my dad about things that went on in his life back in his time, and so my dad wouldn't make the same mistakes, and my dad did the same with me. And then even though you might not see it initially, at some point in time, it's going to come back to you, and you're going to remember that knowledge they gave you. And when you remember that knowledge they gave you, it usually clicks at like the most random time. Like there's things that my parents had taught me that I didn't even realize. I blew off when I was like 21, 22, because I was fast out here doing what I wanted to do. But then when I turned 35, 36, I'm like, yo, my mom told me about that when I was 21. Now I see what she was talking about. But a lot of kids don't have that no anymore. And I'm seeing that a lot even with my older kids. Like this internet and microwave learning era that we're in right now takes away from the time it takes to soak up the knowledge and listen to what people are telling you. And even me at the tender age of 38, I have a hard time with that sometimes too, but I'm learning how to adjust to it. See, a lot of people don't know. The reason that I wear shades on this particular podcast is because of my anxiety. Like, even though it's just me in here recording, looking at myself, talking to, could be, I don't know how many viewers, because you open yourself up to the world when you put things out there. I still get anxiety. So in order for me to do it, when I first started recording the episodes I did before I released anything, I had to record them in the dark. Like, that's the only way I could do it. I couldn't sit here and physically look at myself and call myself talking to could be potentially hundreds, thousands, millions of people that could potentially have access to seeing this. I couldn't bring myself to do it in the light and look at myself. So that's where the sunglasses came. It's not a fashion thing. It's not because I'm trying to look a certain kind of way. It helps me cope with my anxiety so I can do this. So this can be therapeutic to me. And that's something that most people didn't know. A lot of people thought I was just doing this just to look cool. It's not to look cool. It's so I'm able to get through these episodes. I'm able to talk and it comes easy to me. Something that really I've learned that kind of bothers me that I see is I don't like when your drive does not match your ambition. That might not make any sense at all, but it made sense in my mind. So I'm going to explain it. And if I use the wrong words, I apologize, but I'm going to explain what I meant by that. I've been guilty for a long time of having the ambition and having the will to do something, but my drive doesn't match it. I know a lot of people out here who are focusing on trying to get somewhere in life and their ambition and drive match, and it's not amount to anything, but I can guarantee that if you stick to the course and stick to the path, whatever you're working on will happen. And that works for me too. Like, breaking into this podcast space, this content creator space, like, it's really hard for me because I'm not really a open person. So I'm trying to be more open and be able to expose myself more so I can get to the place where I need to be. But I'm a bit of a hothead, or used to be a bit of a hothead, I should say. So I don't take well to negativity, I guess, to negativity. So that's what I had to get past, because if you put it out there, people are going to have the right to say what they want to say about it. So I had to get past that. And that's what drove me past putting the drive with my ambition. I was one of the people for the longest who talked about doing something and all this and never really did anything. And I'm changing that. I learned that I'm the type of person where I'll take the load of everything. Like, I'll try to handle everything on my own. And I learned that I'm not so much, don't have the drive and the ambition as much as I'm overworked. I always say it like, I have a actual 9 to 5 that I do on a daily basis. On top of this, on top of having a family, on top of kids, on top of sports, on top of concerts, on top of appointments. And I try to do it all, handle the bills, all that. And today, somebody told me, it was like, yo, you're not less of a man if you delegate some stuff. It doesn't make you less of a man if you delegate people to do stuff for you. 'Cause at the end of the day, you're draining yourself. You're wearing yourself out. I couldn't figure out why I was always tired. Over these last couple weeks, I've been always tired. Like, no matter how much sleep I get, I'd pop up in the middle of the night and I'd just be up. And then I'd go to sleep early. But no matter how much sleep I get, I'm always tired. And that's when I figured out you're overworked. And it's not even a purposely overworked thing. Like, it's because you want to take hold and take control over everything. You have to start delegating stuff to people. Hey, sweetheart, hey, I'm going to work. I got all the money, making the money. Can you just pay the bills? Hey, no, I can't run you there. I can't take you there, but maybe you can ask somebody else, or things like that. Like, I have to slow myself down and focus on me a little bit more. And that was hard. And I learned that. I'll give you an example. Today at work, we had a new guy, and I can see that he was like driving around, like looking for something, and he didn't know where it was at. So I seen it, and he wasn't paying attention, and I yelled out like, "Hey, you need some help?" But he didn't hear me. Then when he didn't hear me, it clicked. It was like, that's your problem, Ray. You feel like if somebody needs help and you can help them, you have to help them. And that's a problem, Like, and that's when it clicked to me, like, you can't help everybody, and everybody don't want your help. So if somebody wants your help, there's a good chance they'll ask. But you can't just keep volunteering your help to everybody, because everybody will take it. Or the majority of people will take it. And if everybody's taking your help and you're volunteering your help, you're going to eventually drain yourself. Sometimes you got to let people figure out things on their own. Let them figure out life on their own. There's exceptions to that, of course. But in most situations, like, that's what you got to do. I'm talking about me. That's what I have to do. Because I can't continue to drain my energy and myself. And it's a tough lesson for me to learn, because I am such a provider. I am such a helping hand to people. I am a person that wants to, if I got it, I want to give it. If it's my last and I got it and you need it, I want to give it to you. But that's just like if I'm giving you the last, I'm pouring out my last to you, and I'm not reciprocating anything in return, because they'll start to notice that people will look at you as their crutch, and they'll look at you as their savior all the time. And you'll become, whenever they need anything, you'll become the person they call. They know you'll be the yes man. You'll become their yes man. That's the words I was looking for. You'll become their yes man. Sometimes you gotta be selfish with yourself and your time. Everybody ain't gonna be happy around you. But people gotta start getting no's, and you gotta be selfish with your time and focus on you. And these are things that I'm currently actively learning about myself. I got so much stuff that I want to do and share with the world and launch and all that stuff, but my brain is like all over the place. So I have to take the time to focus on one thing and make that one thing grow, and use that to grow everything else around me. This ain't even really like a podcast type episode. At this point, I'm really just talking through things. talking about things that are evolving with me. I said in the last podcast, I was like, I feel the elevation coming. And since then, it's been stronger than ever. I notice everything. I notice everything, and everything has a meaning when I notice it, because I'll ask God, and then He'll show me, and it'll be an answer to what I'm asking. Everybody ain't gonna be on this ride. But those who support, those who reciprocate when I pour into you, you pour back, you will feel the elevation. Throat get dry. Now, I promised on the last episode that I was going to talk about my accident. So, I'll talk about it. July 30th, 2023. At the time, me and my wife were making really good money. Like really good money. And we were doing foolish things with it. We just was spending because we had it. Trips, shopping sprees because we had it. So that weekend of July 30th, we were going to Georgia because it was my sister-in-law's birthday weekend, and we wanted to take her out because she doesn't do much and she does a lot for us. She watches our kids when we were going out of town. She'll fly up to watch our kids. We go to Atlanta and she'll watch our kids while we go out. And if we needed help with something, if she can help us, she always poured into our family. So we want to do something nice. So we're down there earlier in the day. I didn't have anything to wear. So I'm shopping. I'm buying clothes. And I want to buy these shoes. I spent probably about a good, I'd say $500 to $600 just within like 2 hours on a couple items for that night. Get dressed. Me and my wife got a whole thing planned where we're gonna go out, have some dinner, kick with her sister, come back. Then me and her's gonna have an evening alone and just enjoy our company. So we go out, we're bar hopping, going from here to there all through Atlanta. And we settle in on one spot. So my wife was driving, my sister-in-law's behind my wife, and I was in the passenger seat. And we're parked. My truck's parked, backed into a spot, and on the left side of my truck is a curb. There was an empty spot on the right side, and then there was a white Equinox on the opposite side of the empty spot, and then next to that car was a silver Nissan Titan. So we sit in the car, BSing, whatever. And at the time, I drove a Yukon. So it's a pretty big truck. And I got out the car. My sister-in-law said, she was like, we can just go home. We can go. I was like, well, I want to go to Whataburger. And she said, well, we can just go to Whataburger then go home. So my wife said, no, we came all the way out here and it's your birthday, we should at least go in. So I said, well, if we're going to go in, we got to go in. So I hopped out the car. I took 3 steps forward, and my wife and sister-in-law hadn't got out the car yet. And I walked. Let me fast forward. Let me rewind. Before that, we were sitting in the car, and that empty spot next to us, there was a big black GMC Sierra that pulled in next to us. Big truck. and it was close to our car. Like, it was close. And I remember I made the comment. I was like, dang, they close. And he got out. He was like, oh, I wasn't going to hit your car. He's like, I don't want to tear my own truck up. And I said, yeah, I figured that. I said, that's a nice truck. But anyway, so that's when that truck pulled up next to us. So I get out, took 3 steps forward, and came back and was like, come on, y'all, let's get in. Let's go in. And I was at the door of the truck, my truck, passenger door. So I turn around and I took 2 steps and I heard tires screeching. And I'm like, the heck? I look up, that silver Nissan Titan hit with sped for some reason in the parking lot, lost control, hit the Equinox it was parked next to so hard that it pushed the Equinox into the Silverado, and it pushed the Silverado into my Yukon, and I was in between both. So when the Silverado hit my Yukon, it smashed me in between both cars by the hips. So I was trapped in between both cars. My right arm was down, and I was trapped from the waist down, and I couldn't feel my legs. So I'm panicking. I'm thinking like I can try to wedge my way out of there. There's no way I was getting from in between those cars. I'm panicking. My wife's in the driver's seat. She panicked, and my sister-in-law pulls her out of the car. And by the grace of God, we were parked next to a curb. And she drives the car up on the curb. And as soon as I drive the car on the curb, I drop down. And I'm obviously in shock, so my adrenaline is going. So I don't feel the pain. My first thing was I couldn't feel my feet. Let me try to wiggle my toes. So I was able to wiggle my toes, and I tried to get up and couldn't get up. So by this time, it's a crowd of people outside. They done seen and heard the thing. And eventually somebody calls 911. That's another thing. I'm going to pause for a minute. Can we normalize, like, getting people help before we start recording? Like, because I don't remember people recording, but my wife and sister-in-law told me, like, yeah, people had their phones out recording the whole thing. So by the grace of God, I never seen the footage on the internet because I don't want to see it. But can we normalize getting people help before we start trying to go viral? So anyway, I'm on the ground, and I know I try to get up, and I noticed that my hips are hurting so bad. Like, my hips hurt so bad. My hips and my lower back. Couldn't figure out why. I'm in shock. So I don't remember much, but I vividly remember one lady. She came out the bar, and she grabbed me by the back of the head, and she was like, just calm down, relax. I'm a paramedic. I'm gonna make sure you're good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking around trying, like, where's my wife? Where's my wife? She's like, she's right there. She's fine. And she's yelling, so I know she's there. And I'm waiting for the paramedic, and I'm like, I can't move. I can't move my legs. I can't move. Like, I can feel my legs are there. I just can't move them. And she's like, well, just calm down. And then I looked over, and my right arm literally was like this. Like, it was broke. Like a L. So I'm looking at it like this, and this is my arm broke. And I'm like, she's like, no, look at it. I looked at it. I was like, oh, my arm. As soon as I looked at it, I could feel the pain in my arm. So paramedics come. They put me in the back of the ambulance, and I remember they told me they had to set my arm, gave me some pain meds, set my arm, and I was out like a light. I ended up spending a week in the hospital. I now have 2 plates and I think 16 screws in my arm. I broke my pelvis, bruised my hip and my lower back, and I couldn't walk for about a week. So I'm in the hospital. That first night, there was an older lady. I don't remember her name. I always call her my guardian angel. because I was going through it. I had left surgery. I'm in the room. I had to go to the bathroom. I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. I couldn't go do anything by myself. And I got so frustrated. And this um, older Caribbean lady, she prayed with me and she talked me through everything I needed. Like, even having to go to the bathroom, she talked me through it. She was there for me 100%. Anytime I needed anything, she went and got it. She was like, and I told her, I was like, I'm so glad you were here. Like, she made that first night so much easier for me. But so I'm in the hospital 5 days. Had to learn how to walk up steps and down steps and walk, and it was painful. It was, if you follow me on Instagram, there's a video clip that I pinned of my recovery, kind of. And yeah, it was long. So when I finally got to the hospital, not only was I still in pain, I had to get 4 hours back to my house. Get here, couldn't get comfortable on the couch, so I had to try to walk up the steps, and slept in my bed that night, but that wasn't comfortable. So I ended up having to rent a recliner and sleep in the recliner downstairs in my living room for like a month. And I needed help with everything. Like, I couldn't shower by myself. I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. I couldn't cook. I couldn't clean. And it caused me to get so emotionally overwhelmed. Like, one day I just was in my bathroom upstairs trying to wash myself and just was in tears because I was so used to being independent, doing everything on my own, that it hurt me that somebody had to help me. And I was physically hurting myself by trying to do these things. Like, the doctor told me that I shouldn't walk long distances. And then, like, 3 days outside the hospital, I was trying to walk up the street on my own. No matter how much it hurt, I was trying these things because I was so used to being so independent, to the point where I was starting to hurt myself. And I had to depend on my wife for so much. And I've never had to depend on her for that much ever. So it was like a culture shock to me to have to do that. And it humbled me. I did a lot of praying during that time, a lot of talking to God and figuring out why. And he told me, because you're not as strong as you think you are. You think you're strong enough where you can handle everything and do everything on your own. I blessed you financially, and you squandered it away doing stupid stuff. You moving fast. You thinking that you can handle everything that's going on in your life. You thinking you don't need me no more. I'm going to sit you down for a minute. And that's what he did. And I was able to, like, reevaluate some things and see that where I'm not Superman. I'm not this half man, half amazing that can do everything and don't really need no assistance with nothing. And that was God's way of showing me that. And it really opened up my eyes to him and made me more in tune to God. It made me start seeing things for the not necessarily the monetary value, or not necessarily what it can do for me, but it made me see things in a light of what life is really about. Like, I humble myself because my kids have never seen their dad like that. You know what I mean? Like, so I didn't like being seen, like, to me, which I felt weak. But I noticed that my son Cameron, he would help me put my socks and shoes on. He didn't know that I was hurting like that, but he knew that I needed his help. And that was like eye-opening to me. So that accident taught me to be more, I take that back. It taught me to be less, I'm sorry, less independent, less like I can do everything on my own. It showed me I need people. And it also showed me that people that genuinely give a crap about me, they showed up for me. And I also noticed the people that showed up just for the clout, just to say, get information about what happened. I lost friendships during that. A lot of them, because it showed me what people was really about. And I gained friendships. I gained friendships from people that I put in a box that I thought was just, oh, I talk to them when I want to. But no, those are the people that I really should have been talking to more. Shout out to my cousin Little Al. So to this day, I have a scar on my arm that I look at, and it's a constant reminder of what could have been. Because here's what could have been. In normal circumstances, I usually drive. For that night in particular, my wife decided she wanted to drive. My wife is 5'3". I'm 6'6". If my wife was in that passenger seat and I jumped, I jumped so it wouldn't smash my chest. If my wife was in that passenger seat and that happened to her, it would have killed her. My sister-in-law is 4'11", maybe 5 feet. If she was in the passenger seat and got out, it would have killed her. God put me there that particular night to protect them. See, because God foreseen what was going to happen that night before it even happened. So there was a reason that I was in that passenger seat. There's a reason that I had on a pair of brand new expensive jeans that they had to cut off of me. I got in the hospital and the first thing I asked my wife was, where's my jeans? And she said, they cut all of them clothes off of you. Brand new outfit. And I told y'all how much I spent that day. All of it ruined. Only thing I got left is the shoes. That's it. Yeah, it's a really touchy subject and hard for me to talk about because I still suffer with it today. I walk with a limp. I've developed arthritis in my right hip because where the brakes were at, it left a gap between where my pelvis and my hip, the joint in my hip connects, and all through there has been filled with arthritis. So now I have like a constant pain in my hip, pains in my lower back, and my spine does this from my body shifting from the impact. And then today I found out that the guy that hit me is going to court for his sentencing. And the district attorney asked me, did I want to be there? Told her no. And that's because I don't want that man to, at the end of the day, what you did was wrong, so you have to pay for what you did, but I don't have any ill will towards that man. Accidents happen. Intoxicated, regardless, you didn't set out that night to intentionally hit me or hit the cars to cause me to get injured. So I won't have any ill will for that man. And I forgive him, you know, and the only thing I hope for him, who knows, maybe one day he'll see this, but the only thing that I hope for him is that he does have some sort of remorse for what he did, and he feels bad for what he did. But I hope it was a life lesson for him and he's changed. And if he's done that and changed, I'm cool. He don't need to sit in jail or prison for years. He don't need to be on probation for years and all that. He has to. He broke a law, so he has to deal with the law. But if I have anything to do with it, like, I hope him the best. I hope that he has learned from that. I learned from it, and I was the victim, and I learned. But God put a lot of forgiveness on my heart behind that. Like, I really think about things like life is short, you know. And I was, what I say, 2023. So that was 2 years ago. And I still think about it. It still bothers me sometimes. It gives me a little. When it first happened, I couldn't even go in parking lots. Parking lots terrified me. But, you know, I've grown and prayerfully got better. But yeah, I just hope for the best for that man. I'm just thank God that I'm still here to be here for my family, and thank God that I took a lesson out of it, and I hope that he gets the same. But yeah, I don't really want to dig too much deeper into it because it puts me in like a place that I don't necessarily like being in. I moved past it, and I don't want to keep reliving it if I don't have to. So I don't want to hold you guys too much longer. But also, I'm thinking about putting this behind a paywall. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm really thinking about it, and here's why. There are a lot of people out there that say they support, and they just say they support. I'm not begging people to watch this. I'm not begging people to listen to it. I'm not begging people to like it. I'm not begging people to follow, share, any of that. Because that's not what I do it for. But I would like to know who genuinely is riding with me. Genuinely is rocking with this podcast. Rocking with this, not just the podcast, underrated media in general. And I just would like to see my support, not just hear it, if that makes sense. Because there's a lot of people. There's people that I've dedicated episodes to. I've dedicated segments to episodes to. And I've told them, hey, you should really listen to this. You should really listen to this episode. And they haven't or won't. So I don't really want the fake support. I want people around me that's going to want to grow with me. Want this whole thing to grow with me. And if you're listening and you in my part of my family or close friends, and you got something you got going on, a business, a podcast, anything, you want me to shout it out, I shout it out because I want everybody around me to grow and get exposed to. This is something that I enjoy. I enjoy tinkering with social media. I enjoy tinkering with algorithms and content and all that. I enjoy that. A lot of you probably have seen that I've been tinkering a lot with this AI thing, and I'm close to figuring out ways to monetize with it. So it's not just a podcast thing. Like, this is a whole outlet, a whole media space for me. So if I can do something to shout out what y'all got going on or support, buy your product, show it on here, I'm going to do that because I want to grow. I want everybody to grow. Generational wealth. We need to break this. And it takes a village. Can't do it on our own. We got to do it together. And that's what I want to do. So, with that being said, anybody that's looking for interior design work done, rooms, houses, you name it, designs by Nee Marie, styles by Nee Marie. I don't know if the name keep changing, but you can find her on Facebook under Tanisha Anderson. You can find her on Instagram as Simply Nee. And her work speaks for itself. So if you guys are looking for that type of work, she can do it. She can even do it remotely. I'm not real familiar with how, but she can definitely do it remotely where all she does designs your room, sends you a list, you go buy the stuff, boom. Now it ain't free. It's a price behind it, but it'll take all the guesswork out and you can have your unique space how you want it. My niece, she does hair, kind of. I don't really know what her hair, what she does and can't do and all that, but my niece, Stacia Anderson, looking for somebody that can do that, she got you. Hair serums, skincare. I got 2 cousins for that. My cousin Ariel and her sister, Akila. Had a brain fart for a minute. If you're looking for that type of stuff, they got you. Dogs. Looking for Frenchies. Fully invested kennels. My cousin Reese. He got you. Yeah. So, I'm not gonna hold y'all any longer. We had about 53 minutes. Probably a little less because I started recording before. But this has been another episode of Underrated Conversations. Episode 7. Hold on. Episode 7. Like I said, like, share, follow. Thank everybody who has been tuned in to this far. Be on the lookout for all my content. Don't just be looking at my podcast. I got all kind of other stuff I'm doing. Even my posts on Facebook and stuff like that. Share it. Do whatever. YouTube, like, share, follow. I don't release this on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook anymore. I release it strictly on YouTube. So I will put the link on my other social medias, and you have to physically click it to watch it on YouTube, because that's where I need you guys to like, share, and watch at. Yeah, if you get what I'm saying. Once again, thank you. Like I said before, I'm working on putting this behind a paywall. It's not going to be dumb expensive, but I want people that genuinely messing with me to genuinely mess with me. So, once again, thank you guys. And until next time.
Turn the mic up, it's time to dive. Where the stories spark and come alive. Unfiltered thoughts, we keep it real. Underrated vibes, we bound to feel.